cyber harassment. However, I did not prepare to talk about my past experiences, but I would like to talk about my recent encounter with the military during my time serving as a member of an ad hoc parliamentary committee to study and investigate military business. Between January last year and August this year, the aim is to trying to see if we are able to transfer some of their business to other appropriate agency. So during these 18 months, as an House committee, I had the opportunity to better understand the language of those in power in Thai society. I think they use a different set of language and operation from what we are using. It also allowed me to access important information previously unknown to the public. Though the information they submitted to the committee is incomplete, we have to piece fragmented data together. But I think it is substantial enough for me to understand its broad picture. So now the Thai military business is my new research. I should clarify that I joined this committee under the quota of the opposition party, the People's Party, the young New Progressive Party. There were 6 people from the People Party out of a total of 25 members. We were the minority, but we were the loudest voice on the committee, and so we were the people who wrote the report that we are going to submit it to the parliament approval. Hope they will not dissolve the parliament before our report is set in the parliament. So, and my colleagues and I are planning to publish the finding in Thai language. We want the Thai people to learn about this important matter because it affects their life, their well-being. And this, for me, is this how academics should talk to the power. If they don't want us to do it, they don't want us to discuss it or to disclose it, we will do it. So now let's get to the point. So in the modern world, in the liberal world, we live by concept of civilian supremacy over the military. We talking about transparency, checks and balances, accountability, human rights, so on and so forth. So the House Committee began their works with this concept. We believe we have the right and legitimacy to scrutinize and demand information from the military. However, what transpired was that they did not cooperate. They refused to disclose information to us. Especially in the initial stage, the information the military provided us was virtually useless. There were no details of their income and expenditures and no financial reports at all. In some cases where we had information that certain business of them involved misconduct or corruption, they flat out denied any knowledge and refused to provide any information at all. When the committee criticized them, or sometimes we have to use public pressure by giving interview to the media that they didn't want to cooperate, they refused to provide us the information. They started to disclose information little by little. And the units that cooperated more were those with fewer business, while the unit with large number of business, namely the army, did not provide us with financial report at all. As until the end of the investigation, we didn't get any financial report of any of the army's business. I will explain later why there are so many units. So when the committee criticized the military for a lack of transparency, they simply responded that they had made great sacrifice for the nation. Their sacrifices were unparalleled compared with those of other citizens, meaning it was legitimate for them to have greater benefits than other state reservoirs, implying their sacrifice should overrule rules and regulations. And sometimes, quite often actually, they invoke national security to justify their lack of transparency and their unjustified business. It can be said that we were clashing with a profound sense of entitlement and privilege, a profound indifference toward their lack of accountability and impunity. They believe they are exceptional. In my opinion, there is a language or ethos of the feudal lords who have been used to enjoy privilege within their fiefdoms for so long and undisturbed by rule of law. Another stunning feature of the Thai military business is factionalism and lack of central command, as each armed forces have their own separate business kingdoms. This simply allows them loopholes for corruption. This experience led me to conclude that the Thai military business operation and its structure are fundamentally shaped not by modern economic practice, but by patrimonial feudalism or the Thai Sabina culture. So in my study, I simply use the concept of Thai feudalism or Sabina to illuminate its pre-modern behavior, power relation, and professionalism. I'm sure that you all know that the Sabina system of the old Siam or Thailand is not the same as European feudalism. In fact, it was officially dismantled in the late 19th century. In theory, the king had absolute power over land and manpower, but in reality, it was a decentralized system. The king's power was weaker as the distance from the center increased. Nobles are assigned Sabina ranks, which determine their administrative power and size of land use. Nobles were allowed to have pride or commoners under their command. Pride was not citizen, but subjects of king or nobles. They were obligated to provide their lords with taxes in various forms. It can be labor, free labors for 3 months per year. It can be forest or agricultural product or cash, which is not which was quite rare at the time. In time of war, they were mobilized for military service. Another significant characteristic of the Thai feudal system, which I will compare it with the Thai military now. Another significant characteristic of the Thai feudal system was its decentralized territorial-based administration. At the time, there were 3 powerful ministers. There were Minister of Krom Mahathai, responsible for the northern and northeast regions. The Minister of Krom Kalahom, responsible for the southern region. And the Minister of Krom Tha, responsible for the east coast region. They derive their legitimacy from the king's authority. The 3 power ministers of the Sabina system held jurisdiction over all affairs within their territory and over their subjects. Although such a territorial-based system no longer exists, the separation of wealth and power among different branches of the modern Thai armed forces suggests that a neo-feudal system is still at work. Judging from the outside, the Thai military now appear to be strong and unified institution, particularly in their fight against civilian control. In fact, the decentralized feature of the Sabina army has been the essential character of the Thai military. Each armed force has its own business kingdom. Wealth management is done separately. There are 5 major branches listed here: the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Royal Thai Armed Forces, and the Office of the Permanent Secretary. All are under the Ministry of Defense. Most people in Thailand, including politicians, have misunderstood that the Royal Thai Armed Force, headed by the Supreme Commander, sit at the top of the military structure and had the power to command and control all branches of the armed forces, while the Office of the Permanent Secretary served as the coordinating agency. In reality, during peacetime, the Royal Thai Armed Force chiefs hold no such overarching authority. His responsibility is limited to overseeing 17 units under his direct command. So at the beginning of the inquiry of the House Committee, we had requested information from the Permanent Secretary Office, assuming that its main duty was to document logistic and financial information of all units. But to the committee's surprise, the Permanent Secretary Officer said they did not have information of the other 4 branches at all. They did not know how many business each have, how much each earned, and how the money was spent. All 5 branches operate their business independently, not sharing business detail or profit with one another. They definitely cannot interfere with each other business. Even the Supreme Commander cannot order other branches to submit him data. The decentralized management resembles the territorial-based administration under the subpoena system. It presents a major obstacle for scrutiny. Among 5 branches, the Army maintains control over the largest number of personnel and the most extensive business operation. It's also the most resistant to submit its financial report to the House Committee. Most of their documents contain no financial figures. They acted like they didn't care about transparency because the committee has no power to punish them. Such features are critical to Thailand national security. Why? Because centralization is a defining characteristic of modern armed forces, particularly in terms of doctrine, command structure, strategic planning, and resource allocation. Judging from the outside, I said the Thai military appeared to be a strong and unified institution. However, as Professor Greg Raymond, I have to refer to his book, The Thai Military Power. His book points to the critical organizational culture of the Thai military, that it is a military without common doctrine and central command. It is a result of factionalism, royalism, and weak civil control. This inner weakness had manifested in various symptoms, including the inefficient arms procurement, which did not correspond to its military strategy, lack of budgeting for maintenance, and opportunity for corruption. The symptom also manifested in the ongoing Thai-Cambodia territorial conflict. The army admitted that they did not have sufficient barbed wire or drones or the device to stop severe bleeding. So they have to request the public for donation. And the role of the Supreme Commander was not visible in the conflict at all. The civilian government was too weak to lead on the problem, but allowed the army leaders on the ground to play a leading role and fanning nationalism. So I suggest further adding what I found at the military business, that the factional culture go deep down into their business management. It allows military cadres to enjoy self-enrichment within their own kingdom without independent oversight. This decentralized feature is entrenched deeply in the armed forces and become a major part of its dysfunction. And it is a neo-feudal military that's very dysfunctional. Now, let's look at its business. There are 3 major categories of business there are business for internal welfare, business for the off-budget fund, there are Type 1 and Type 2, and the investment in private companies. Each category poses its own specific problems, but I will focus on the first two categories only. The instance I discuss here only serve as some example of the problem. There are so many of them. I cannot put all of them here. Okay. The first one, the military for internal welfare. The military always claim that its business are for national security. Its profit is to serve soldiers, eventually the low-ranking soldiers who are sacrificing their life to protect the country and to provide additional support to the soldiers and their families. All military business are subject to internal audit only. Auditors are military officers, while other government agencies are allowed to establish business for their internal welfare and also have internal audit. But none would have as many and variety of business as the military. Typical business for internal welfare of other state agencies are saving and loan or cooperative, funeral society, convenience store, and recreational facility within their premise. But the military business is so diverse. They are, as I listed here, the petrol station, coffee shop, restaurant, golf course, hotels, resort, boxing stadium, shooting range. And the picture here shows. They also have the mobile fresh food store. They also have a small farm, and they have conscript to take care of their small farm. They also have makeshift and permanent fresh market, and the army lands over 200 places inside the military camps. They also have boat service for scattering cremated ashes, as used in Thai culture. When people die, they cremated, and people usually scratch the ashes to the sea. Then now we provided this service for the people. They also have international airport, that the Utapao International Airport in the Eastern Coast region. There are at least 362 business ventures in this category. The business for internal welfare must follow the regulation for internal welfare, which mandate that the majority of customers must be its own staff, not outsider. The business must be located within its premise, not on the major road to serve outside customer. It must operate only during official working hours. Commercial venture on state land must sign a revenue sharing agreement with the Treasury Department. But in reality, they have confidently violated this rule for a long time. Their operation should have been categorized as commercial-oriented activity for internal welfare, and they must obtain prior permission and sign a revenue sharing agreement with the Treasury Department. But they didn't do so. They just applied for the permission only recently, when the future forward or the people parties now raise issue of the obscure military business in the parliamentary debate in 2019. In fact, the violations were highly secret. The Treasury official must have been aware of the misuse of state land all along. The land belonged to the Treasury Department had authority over state land. Yet the Treasury official failed to act. Although this business category is only subject to internal audit, but the Office of the General Auditor has authority to investigate if they learn of misconduct. But the General Auditor did not launch any investigation until 2022, when it found that 40 army business misuse state land and violating regulation. Still, no disciplinary action was recommended at all. Let me give you an example of how the army managed its Lumpini boxing stadium. Now it's on Ram Intra Road. It used to be close to the Lumpini public park in the middle of Bangkok. Now it moved to Ram Intra Road. This business classified as business for internal welfare. It was created since 1956 by Field Marshal Sarit, but the army has never shared the profit from the business with the government. We Thai people know very well that this business generates huge profit for those involved. In late 2022, after the COVID pandemic, the army signed MOU with 3 international combat sport companies. There are 1 championships, Fairtex 5 promotion, and Monday market, granting them right to organize and broadcast fight worldwide. Its revenue are from these 3 organizers. And also the army also have revenue from domestic broadcast, advertisement within the stadium, and ticket sale. The army told us that the organizer paid the army 300,000 per event or per day, which is about 9,000 US dollar. Which is rather low because we know that the advertising fee that the 3 organizers got from broadcasting worldwide during the match is priced at 350,000 baht per minute, or about over 10,000 US dollar per minute. However, the army officer explained they did not seek a higher rate for the company because they felt gratitude to them for reviving the stadium business after the pandemic. They added that the company helped promote Thai soft power, that is a Thai boxing globally. Therefore, Thai people should be thankful to them. This questionable deal raised legitimate concern about hidden benefit. The army refused to disclose its financial report to us, but we estimate that the stadium generates revenue for the army between 58 million to 87 million per year. Another example, I'll go quickly. Okay, I hope I didn't use too much time. A large number of business led to a large number of internal welfare. This is a large number of business led to a large number of internal welfare funds, which are managed by either central command unit in Bangkok or provincial units. There are at least 28 funds under the central command and another 119 funds under provincial units. The provincial commander of the army are given autonomy to manage their own business, and some fail to comply with regulation. We have evidence about that. On the one hand, this fluid business management allows local commander to accrue wealth within their territory. On the other hand, profit is strategically distributed asymmetrically to lower rank to foster loyalty network. The accusation that these ventures are for welfare of low-ranking military is highly dubious because they refuse to disclose the total revenue figure to us. Another example of misconduct is with the defense pharmaceutical factory founded in 1961. This is an example of when this kind of misconduct, say, when the military need a budget from government to expand its business, it's argued that its business is self-sustaining and profitable. It would be a burden on the state, so that it would not be a burden for the state budget. But when we look at its financial report, we found that it put 80 million baht. It received from the government budget as it owns income from business. So without government budget, it would have incurred a loss of more than 70 million baht. So when the committee suggested that pharmaceutical industry is not your duty at all, it's not military duty, and the country already have government pharmaceutical organization with producing enough medicine for the country, they argue that the business is to guarantee the country drug security, especially in time of war. But it's irony because most of the drugs produced by the military are common household and herbal medicine and cosmetic. They produce the lip balm, shampoo, and this kind of products. The private company already produced in abundance. Another type of the business is the off-budget, the business for off-budget funds. Our government agency, of course, allowed to have off-budget fund, but its objective to give financial flexibility to them. Some state agencies use some other fund to complement regular budget, but the military has never done so. The oversight is closer than that of the regular budget, as it is not scrutinized by Parliament at all. Said agency is authorized to submit an annual financial report to the general auditor, but the military never does so. Moreover, while all other state agencies have only one type of off-budget fund, the military is the only institution have two types of off-budget funds. And how each fund have been used are kept in darkness. We don't even have the regulation covering this kind of fund of the military. They refuse to disclose even the regulation to us. Revenue from the Taiwan funds are from various kind of business, as I put it here. The annual budget report of the Budget Bureau indicate this fund amounted to 40 billion baht, or about 1.2 billion US dollar billion. And they spend about 23 to 29 billion baht per year. But the military refused to tell us how the money was spent. For the type 2 of budget fund, it's even murkier. The military only state revenue from television network and radio station go to type 2, but it refused to disclose its annual revenue. The military has controlled major public communication since 1950s or the Cold War period. Currently, military control 196 radio channels, of which 122 belong to the army. National security has always been its rationale, and it must control major public communication, eventually in time of crisis. However, many of its radio channels are rented to private companies and entirely for entertainment and commercial purposes, playing pop and country music all day long. Its TV and radio channel seem to be a major communication between the state and the public long time ago. But they are still excellent source of profit for the military. When the committee told them to share profit with the government, they claimed that their business generate little income and that some are operating at a loss. So it's impossible to share profit with the government. However, a closer look at the financial report reveals irregular expenses. For example, a financial report of the Royal Thai Armed Forces 6 radio stations, which were rented and operated by private company entirely, indicated that in 2016, the Royal Thai Armed Forces received a total revenue of 70 million baht. Yet it claimed that it lost 31,000 baht that year. See, but when we have a closer inspection of expense, we found that a large number of expenses were unrelated to operational expense at all. I list it here. I mean, include costs for the welfare of provincial units, costs for the housewife club, costs for the retired military club, and for charity and religious donation, for buying gifts and souvenirs, for their own people. For domestic international trip to where, we don't know. For sport and entertainment activity, totaling, this cost totaling 37 million baht. But they are not operational costs. There are several welfare pockets, small pocket, and they put all this as the operational expense. This pattern was repeated in financial report from later years. For me, only a feudal lord could possibly believe that their personal benefit is part of operational cost. Now, another example is the army most scandalous misconduct is television channel 5. It took place during the Asian financial crisis in 1997, when channel 5 established a private firm named RTA, stand for Royal Thai Army. It is a business firm, and they register it as a public company in the stock market. The army held a 51% stake, with the remaining 49% held by 5 army generals. The objective was for the company to serve as the business organ for Channel 5. However, just a few months after its establishment, Thailand was hit by the crisis. Then the Thai military bank was severely affected. Its stock price plummeted and it incurred massive debt. So the army intervened because a large number of military personnel and military organization held stock at the bank. So it achieved this by having the RTA take out an interest-free loan from Channel 5 to purchase share of the bank totaling 1.5 million baht. 1.4 billion baht. And Channel 5 also appointed RTA as its representative to borrow 1.6 million baht from the bank, from the Thai military bank, to invest in the station satellite television project. Investigation of this case was carried out in 2003, and the investigation concluded that the army action were wrong and advised it to sell the share of RTA. Nothing happened and no one was punished. And as of now, the army still did not get its loan of 1.2 billion baht back. Now, I will talk about the issue of state land and manpower. I will go quickly. The military is the largest holder of state land in Thailand, controlling 45.5% of treasury land, or about 2,002,000 plus acres. Among the armed forces, the army holds the largest share of about 2 million acres. The figure is bigger if we include forest land and other types of land. Legally, military land is part of state-owned land, allocated for military use. Most of them are under the authority of the Treasury Department. Land is the fundamental resource for military to operate a variety of business. A vast amount of land is used for non-military purposes, and as the status symbol for military officers, it reflects a rent-seeking behavior of the feudal laws. Now, the military have altogether 61 golf courses and clubhouses on state land. This is a good example of the misuse of land. 40 of them belong to the army. Several provinces have more than one military golf course, including Bangkok, which have 3. 2 belong to the Air Force and 1 belong to the army. They are all located within 10-kilometer radius. The combined size is over 500 acres. This is the picture of the Kantarak golf course. It's in the middle of Don Mueang Airport. Many of you, if next time you have a chance to use Don Mueang International Airport, look down from the airplane. You will see in the middle of the runway. This is a runway, 2 parallel runway here. This is a building of the airport. In the middle here, the green in the middle is a golf course. We call it Sanam Ngu, the snake course, because it's long. you can't believe we have the military golf course in the middle of international airport. Chiang Mai has 2 golf courses, one belong to the army, the other one belong to the Air Force. Both are in the central district or Mueang district. The privilege the military enjoy is obvious when comparing its golf course to public park. For example, the Air Force to Patemi golf course, which 5 kilometers from this Don Mueang airport, is larger than Bangkok's biggest public park or the Ramanai Park. The Tupadimi golf course serve an average only 100 people a day, mostly military officers, while Ramanai Park receive almost 5,000 visitors on a weekday and over 8,000 visitors on a holiday. The question is why the armed forces in the same province do not share a golf course. Because it is not merely a workout venue. It is a personal kingdom of military cadres, where the generals are kings in their own kingdom, surrounded by a large entourage and with free service from the conscript. While at private club, they may not be treated differently from other wealthy clients. The Navy has occupied a large area of land. This is another example of the Navy's Eastern Industrial Development Region. In the eastern coast, they occupy over 80,000 acres, covering part of Chonburi and Rayong province. These coastal provinces are popular among tourists, and it has been the industrial development zone since the mid-1980s. The Navy has enjoyed profit from its monopoly of selling tap water and electricity to 53,000 households and business clinics in the Sattahip district in Chonburi province. It claimed that the area is a military security zone, because it's home to Sattahip naval base. Therefore, the Navy needs its own power source for military security and must operate its own electricity. But the claim is not credible because the Navy does not generate its own electricity at all, but it buys power from provincial electricity authority and resell it for profit. Besides the argument that the whole area is a military security zone, is not credible either because it is full of residential homes, shops, restaurants, hotel, resort, condominium, amusement park, shopping malls. And another chance for the Navy to have more revenue from controlling this part of land is in 2018, the military regime of General Prayut launched the Eastern Economic Corridor and Eastern Aviation City project. So Prayut government gave private company right to develop and sell public utilities in the area, but the public company have to share their profit with the Navy. It's capped at no more than 1 million baht per year, starting in 2018. So the Navy did nothing at all, but it is awarded a huge amount of profit simply because the new investment took place in the land under its occupation, and they refused to give back the land to the Treasury Department. This profit go to its internal welfare as well. So for the last issue of the manpower, manpower was a precious resource for the old Satina system, and the modern time military maintained this tradition by treating conscript as subject of pride and a sort of free labor. Each year, the armed forces recruited around 100,000, or about between 80,000 to 100,000 new conscripts. Mostly are people with lower income backgrounds. It is well known that the conscripts are at risk of physical abuse, which sometimes led to death, and no one is accountable for their death. Even though they are the lowest ranking in the Thai armed forces, they do not benefit from military business at all. only the permanent personnel of the armed forces will gain from the profit. But they are free labor for military business being used as waiter in restaurant, club, maintenance of business premise, attendant to gas station inside military camps, being farm hand, being sales people for farm products. Very often we know that they are used as household servant or military generals. It's still going on. And recently we heard the news that they were forced to work in a chicken farm for the general, and the chicken farm was within the military camp. And one of them was forced to work as scrap rider, became headline news recently. Ironically, military elite always emphasize on building national security, national unity, but the pervasive dehumanization and exploitation of conscript contradict that claim. On the one hand, Thai military pays loyalty toward the monarchy rather than the people, as Paul Chambers called them the monarchized military. On the other hand, the military argued that compulsory conscription is a tangible expression of national unity and security, as it demonstrates a citizen's willingness to sacrifice their life to protect the country. But Thai conscripts are treated as their subject, as a sort of free labor. Thai military officers do not see the importance of sharing a sense of comradeship with the conscripts or their subject at all. Therefore, it is not exaggerated to say that Thai men are not convinced that their service is an honorable and proud duty. This widespread sentiment is evident every year during the conscription lottery. The media always report on a scene of raw emotion. People who draw a black card and are spared from service jump and cheer with overwhelmingly joy. In stark contrast, those who draw the red card weep uncontrollably, some even fainted. So military elite simply ruin national unity. So let me conclude. So the Thai military business operations are institutionalized expression of neo-feudal culture. Their self-righteous sense of entitlement to privilege and immunity from accountability is possible because of its omnipotent power in Thai politics. Separate power, separate wealth among the 5 branches of the armed force not only allow military cadres to enjoy privilege within their autonomous fiefdoms, it also an obstacle for check and balance, because no single civilian or military authority can possess a comprehensive view of the entire financial status, effectively creating fiefdom immune to both internal and external oversight. Also, the frequent invocation of military security and national security to justify the commercial activity is a more pretext for financial gain, resource exploitation as the largest landlord, divested land for non-military commercial purpose and it is nature. Ironically, Thailand is an agricultural country with a perpetual problem that a majority of peasants are landless. So the neo-feudal behavior of the monarchized military does not place their loyalty to the constitution and the people. They themselves undermine their own narrative of national unity and national security. The business also diverse professional attention. It estimates that at least the House Committee estimated that at least 1,000 military officers are used to taking care of its funds and business operation. Last but not least, the hierarchical Sagina system are an obstacle to democratization and Thailand defense strength. It perpetuates a political economy of impunity, a system I believe the military do not want to change. They believe in different set of values from a liberal to modern world. Therefore, they do not hear or care about the increasing noisy calls for military reform. That is from me. Thank you for your attention. Should I stop sharing the PowerPoint?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ajahn. That was a brilliant and compelling presentation. We have about 15 minutes, I think, or 10 minutes for questions. I will just dive in with a quick question. Of course, the professional Thai military was established in the late 19th century from a feudal arrangement for military forces. As you said, the Brom Mahat, the Brom Ta. Do you think that the attempt to create a professional military always left feudal practices intact, or do you think the 1932 revolution and the 1947 coup are the starting points of military impunity and a military feudal culture? Where do you sort of situate historically this emergence of a sense of entitlement?
Well, I don't think the 1932 revolution have any significant impact on the military reform. I think partly because the Khana Ratsador, the People Party that took up the revolution or toppled the absolute monarchy system, have to rely on military to establish their power to establish a new regime. And we see that military leader also have very like Field Marshal Pipu Songkhram was very influential, very powerful. And when Pipu Songkhram became prime minister, I think he tightened up power grip to promote military power. Eventually, after the coup d'etat, the coup d'etat after the Second World War, and then he returned to be prime minister again. He had to rely on the military faction that promoted him, that supported him to be a premiership again. So, I mean, for me, military, the Thai military has always adopted this modern structure, modern function as in the West, but it's only superficial, only the structure. But when we look inside, I don't think they see the significance of having a central command or having a common doctrine. Your book also mentioned that how come the Thai military, modern one, lack a common doctrine. So when they purchase weapons, they don't care whether those weapons reflect the strategy or they have a vision what will be the future threat for Thai national security at all. The problem, I don't think they see the importance of having a strong central command and doctrine. They don't see the essence of what modern world operation needed. The same, I mean, we have democracy, we have revolutions in 1932, and even the military government like Prayut Chan-o-cha, he even claimed that he came from democratic regime because his second term, at least his second term, he was appointed, he was elected by the member of the house of both houses. But in essence, we are not democratic. In essence, the Thai military are not modern in the same sense that we understand they should be.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?